name is Simon Mifsud, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Garland Surgical. And we're a spin-out from the University of Malta, and we're developing a novel hip replacement called the MaltaHip, which will affect the lives positively of millions of patients worldwide. So hip replacement is a solution for hip arthritis. And hip arthritis is a global problem affecting 40 million people globally. We spend 20 billion euros on dealing with hip arthritis every year, and it's considered to be a successful procedure. However, 10% of those implants will dislocate within the first 12 months, just through normal activities of daily living. And 58% of those implants will fail over the course of 25 years. The issue and the challenge is that the implants themselves will only last for between 15 to 25 years. And you're usually in your late 60s before you receive a hip replacement. And this means that for younger active patients, there's a massive health inequality. And they have a choice. They can either have a hip replacement and face several procedures throughout their lifetime, each one less successful than the first. Battery's running low. Or they can wait it out until they're actually old enough to outlive their implant, essentially, in which time they will have lost quality of life, musculoskeletal health, etc., etc. And the additional healthcare costs associated with that. So we at Garland are trying to address those health inequalities by developing a novel hip replacement that lasts twice as long as the current crop of implants and cannot dislocate in the same way that the current ones can. The inventors actually took their inspiration from the ankle joint, which suffers far less from arthritis than the hip. And that's because of its cylindrical nature. It spreads the load more effectively and reduces wear. And the inventors were able to take everything that was efficient and create a joint replacement suitable for the hip that gives a wide range of stability and a wide range of motion, allowing the users to be able to pursue their normal ranges of activity. So now we're able to offer a lifetime hip replacement for patients when they need it. Not when they're old enough to outlive it, giving confidence in their mobility and stability. So if they want to go climbing, high flexion, they can. If they want to just get out of bed without the risk of dislocating their hip, they can. Our team's really experienced. We've got over 80 years in this industry. I myself have 35 years, and I have started, scaled, and exited a successful orthopedic business to the US global. The rest of the team have all the relevant experience, all the energy and skill set to be able to take this project through from proof of concept through to commercialization and exit. We've achieved $1.5 million in funding so far, and we've been able to use that money to advance the technology from proof of concept to verification and validation prototypes with human cadaveric implantations here in Malta last year and in the UK early this year. And we've made all the key relationships with the large orthopedic manufacturers to enable us to produce and scale as necessary. We'll focus on the US market first because it's the most significant and it's the least burdensome to get to. And we think that we can get conservatively 14,000 procedures annually by 2031. We don't start to hit revenue until 28, and every time we add a territory, we become incrementally more profitable as we are going through a licensing arrangement. So we're raising 4 million, of which 2.5 million has been committed already through grants from Malta Enterprise and VCs and angels. That will give us a freeze on product development, will get us our regulatory journey initiated and ISO certification from ESI. it is really important to us. We can make a difference. We just need that funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My understanding is that you're still in a proof of concept stage?
Not quite proof of concept. So we are in the product development. We've done the very early verification, validation, confidence testing internally. We have a range of sizes now. Sorry, let's get too close. So what we need to do now is complete the product design, complete the instrumentation to put the hips in. We've got rudimentary stuff, but now we just have to hire some staff to be able to do that. We've set ourselves a really aggressive timeline to do it, which we can achieve with the right funding and the right staff.
Okay. I had a follow-up. I know we have very limited time. Do you or anyone else in the team have experience there for taking a product like this into the medical industry, the regulated sort of, and selling it into that space? I mean, because you're going to have to get this through regulators, I would assume.
Yeah, FDA for the US and MDR for CE marking. I myself have experience.
Okay.
My CTO, John Chapman, he spent 25 years working for Debris Synthesis, a J&J company, one of the largest orthopedic manufacturers. That's what he did, develop hips and knees. He wanted to do something meaningful, not iterate in vain, so he joined us. So we've got all the relevant experience. And where we don't have experience, because we don't have everything, we have a really significant advisory board who are advising us in those matters.
Thank you.
Okay, so personally I have no medical expertise.
Okay, that's fine.
But how does this compare? Well, I suppose I have one what I would consider medical question. Don't human bodies change with time?
Yes.
So, does a hip replacement that's supposed to last 50 years, is it not counterintuitive? As in, will it last that long because the body changes?
It will last that long because the technology we're using to fix it, we're relying on biological fixation, bone ingrowth into the implant, and that's part of the development work that we've done.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Yeah,
which is good.
I mean, the device is not going to deteriorate, essentially, like the existing crop of implants will, because we use a different use of the articulating surfaces in the current crop. So we don't create.
How does the price per hip compare to existing products in the market?
So we haven't actually made any at a scale yet, but because we're not using fancy materials to achieve what others try to achieve, we're using stainless steel and a polymer called polyethylene. We can make this relatively inexpensively. We can 3D print some of the components at scale, and we've managed to do that. And the method of manufacturing so far is indicating that we can make this for the same price, if not less. We may want to charge a premium for this because it's going to double the life of the implant and reduce costs, and we may be able to do that, make a business case for doing that. But we could also make it a lot cheaper, and there are ways that we can make it comparable in terms of performance to existing, but half the price as well. So we've got lots of options available to us.
Okay, one last question, stroke point. Somebody I used to work with, we used to discuss orthopedics being sold into medical systems. I was just curious.
Yeah.
And there was something which I learned that surprised me, which was in healthcare systems that are based on private income, not like the National Health Service in the UK, there's often resistance to new products coming into a market which can be implemented faster and last longer and are cheaper because the existing incumbents in the market like the profit they already make.
When we talk
So
about
how are you
incumbents,
going to
we're
deal with
talking
that?
about the industry, my industry, or the insurance.
The guy that says to me, you need a hip, it's going to cost you 50 grand or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They don't want to be telling me it's going to cost 25 and it'll last twice as long.
Yeah. So
Which is weird, but
yeah. So I think the attitudes have changed somewhat. We did very early on. The first money we spent was on a independent market research in the US, which is going to be our first market. 101 101 orthopedic surgeons, just to make sure our baby was beautiful, because we obviously thought it was. We just wanted to know from independents, so we contracted a company called Incrowd to do that for us. And 86% at various stages of positive response to that independent market research from, yes, we would use it if it was available tomorrow with an FDA clearance, to if we saw a little bit more real-world evidence, we'd use it. So, Incrowd had never seen such a positive response. And the issue is that patients dislocate all the time. That's a massive issue for them, the patient, the clinical provider, and the payers. So they want to stop that happening. And the fact that it's going to last longer, that's almost immaterial to them. They want to just stop this dislocation risk. So, thank you.
Sorry, guys. One last question.
Very, very quick one, Nora, sorry. What makes you different? Materials or design? Or both?
Engineering.
Engineering.
It's the engineering solution.
Okay. Which includes materials and design, basically.
It does, but we're using a different articulation. So we're using cylinders gliding in a linear action as opposed to a spherical bearing.
Okay. No, I see Nora is giving me nasty looks. Literally, just 10 seconds, please.
Sure.
Now, let's assume that tomorrow you find the investment, yeah?
Yes.
When do you think you would be ready for clinical trials?
So we would be ready for clinical trials 2027 if we were required to do those in the US, because there would be limited clinical trials. We know we will have to do them for the MDR for the CE marking. That will be after the US ones, so probably end of 27, 2028. So US will come online, all being well, 2028, and then CE marking towards the end of 28 and live in Europe and the UK 2029. So we've still got a way to go, but everything that we've done so far is showing us that we're going down the right steps and stages.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Make sure to scan this code and then give your votes in the form of an investment to Simon and his team. And now the floor is MaltaHip.